Today's mayor's talk is held with Mr. Pierre Modet from Switzerland, who is the State Councillor of Geneva and previous mayor of Geneva. Welcome to the city of Tsu, Mr. Modet.
Thank you.
Nice
Welcome.
to see you. And I'd like to introduce him as an representative of the delegation to visit Japan this time. And of course, he took 16 members of the other delegation to visit Japan. You visited Osaka, and you will visit Tokyo. Yeah. And from Osaka to Tokyo, you dropped in this city. Tsu was chosen to be visited, as well as Osaka, Tokyo, and Tsu. We have a great honor to be visited by this delegation. Maybe you will be able to start talking about the purpose of this visit, and maybe you will be able to introduce your points to visit this city.
Yeah, sure, Mr. Mayor, the pleasure and the honor was for me to be here, because it's a reason to meet with you in my capacity as Minister of Economics from Geneva. I would like to thank you, first of all, for welcoming us today here in Tsu. My presence is a testimonial of the robust links between our two cities, which are involved in several cooperation agreements. Moreover, for Japan and Switzerland, 2014 marks a landmark anniversary for our two nations, not only from an economical point of view, but more generally for a cultural standpoint. Geneva also has a special ties with your capital, Tokyo. I had the pleasure in my previous tenure as mayor of Geneva to be in close contact with the Geneva Shinagawa Association,
Shinagawa district, yeah.
dedicating at strengthening the ties between our two cities. Therefore, I believe that Japan is not an unknown country for me, even though it is my first visit here in your jurisdiction. But a trip to Japan without a visit to Tsu would have been incomplete. As you may know, Japanese companies play a significant part in our economic strategy, especially in the fields of biotech, health and innovation.
Yeah.
And our presence today in Tsu is a new step in the long-term relationship that was built over the years between Geneva and your beautiful and very dynamic region. I would like to thank you for receiving us in your city and for making this association possible.
You are welcome. Thank you very much for saying that a trip to Japan without a visit to Tsu would have been incomplete. Sure. It's a very big word. Thank you very much. Yes, and as you mentioned, in November 2012, I visited Geneva for the conclusion ceremony of an agreement for the local industrial exchange with an industrial supporting institution in Geneva, OPI. As I know that the OPI, Office to Promotion the Industry, the Technology, they are supporting the SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, as well as big companies. That's why we had we hope to reach win-win results for the industries of the mechatronics, clean tech developments, and so on, some other fields, through various promotional and cooperative activities between OPI and Tsu, city of Tsu. With this commitment in place, we are making great efforts in supporting of further economic exchange. So we had a very small party here today to have an exchange of information for both SMEs and for both enterprises in your country and in this city. So maybe you will be able to give us some comments about the possibility of as a public sector supporting the private sector for the international business situation.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I want to go on this important point because I would like to underline your personal involvement for the development of your city. And as a local authority in charge of economics, I can point out some similarities between our economic promotion politics. Most of the jobs in Switzerland, especially in Geneva, are created by small and medium-sized enterprise. And this kind of cooperation contribute to Geneva's development concomitantly with the development of two. Geneva's government is very accessible for economical partners, and we will continue developing very close and good relationships. Proximity is indeed a critical factor. My role is to listen to the needs of the business and to support them. Hence my presence here today. Throughout its Economic Development Office, Geneva has a great success in its strategic fields, most notably with the establishment in Geneva of several new American and Asian companies, creating numerous new job positions. As a recent example, we had the pleasure to welcome a pharmaceutical Japanese company. You know, other Japanese projects currently stand in the pipeline. And I believe that some of the attractive elements that motivate multinationals to choose Geneva as a base to develop their activities are our state-of-the-art infrastructure, in particular our airport, for example, which provide 120 destinations and is used by 15 million passengers per year. As well as your unrivaled international environment, Geneva is home to roughly 13 international organizations. Not only the United Nations, the UN, but also the CERN, the WIPO, the World Intellectual Property Organization.
I visited there.
The WTO, the World Trade Organization, are based in Geneva and make our city the capital of global governance. Our attractive and efficient ecosystem, as evidenced by a stable and flexible labor legislation, serves the need of business players.
Thank you very much. So you are so you eager to have a good relationship between between enterprises of two countries. Yes, and maybe we will be able to have a good support to the business private sector members to support those business matching or some kind of the collaboration possibility for them to be able to have for the both countries and both cities. And thank you very much for giving us the comments of the importance of the collaboration for those two cities. And also you are not only in charge of economy but also in charge of securities for citizens. And we will have a next conversation after this talk about the securities for citizens and information technologies. Please give us a talk about your another responsibility.
I continuously work on improving the quality of life, and I am proud to announce you that this month, in November, Geneva was elected the most livable city in the world. And but we can always do more. With my second hat as a Minister of Security, I'm currently increasing the number of police officers, and investments will be made in technology. The first CCTV, for example, system was introduced in one district in Geneva. I will be delighted to leverage the expertise developed in Japan, your country being a pioneer in this respect.
Thank you. And you can see the downtown scenery from this room, and I'm very proud of this city as a very clean city and a safe city, because you know that traffic is so heavy in the middle of in the downtown of this area, but this will be the kind of this will give us some kind of difficulties for citizens to cross this road, this wide road, but the traffic is completely under control, for not only for the safety of the citizens, workers, but also the cars, drivers. And you are so, as you mentioned, that you have a very important responsibility in the state of Geneva, and maybe this visit to Japan will give you some kind of the reference of the safe and livable city, nation, country for both Switzerland and Japan. Please conclude this conversation by yourself.
I only want to say thank you very much for this experience here in Sue. I think it's not the last time I will come in Japan.
Thank you very much. Thank you.